Hey guys, it is Tonya, Thrifty Treasures. Welcome to the Reseller 6-pack number 16, selling clothes on eBay. And before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that next week the show will be on Shane's channel, Rise and Grind Picker. He is the newest member of the Reseller 6-pack, so we'd like to welcome him. Yay!
Cheers,
so, Shane, you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you're drinking?
Yeah, my name is Shane, and I'm the Rise and Grind Picker, and today I'm drinking Leinenkugel's Oktoberfest again. So I still had some in the refrigerator. So, and yeah, so that's me. So, yep, my channel is Rise not and, but in Grind Picker. So,
Andy?
Howdy, I'm Andy, the Parrot Picker, and tonight I am drinking Oktoberfest as well again, but this is Sierra Nevadas. So, and I found this awesome bottle opener. I'm going to share with you guys, but this thing's pretty cool. Check this out. I found this really cool Goose Island bottle opener, and I need these things for my beers because none of them have twist-off caps. So this thing was pretty cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Jory?
Hey guys, I'm Jory from Good Use Goods. It's been a while since I've been on this show. Been gone for a bit. And I'm drinking Bud Light right now. Yeah, thank you.
How's the baby doing, Jory?
He's doing good. I think he's somewhat sleeping right now in the bedroom.
Oh. Lonnie?
Hey guys, I'm Lonnie, also known as Garage Flips on YouTube. I'm departing from the norm. I'm not drinking beer today. It was kind of hot today. We were outside a bit, and I decided early on I was going to buy a daiquiri. So I have like a huge pina colada daiquiri here. Go ahead and make fun of me all you want. It tastes really good. It's got an extra shot, so I'm enjoying it. It's delicious.
So catch me up here. Lonnie is now selling all kinds of jeans and clothes, and now he's drinking daiquiris. We're gonna pull your man card, bud. Pull the man card.
John, I think you might just be having. I think you might just be a little upset about your pending defeat at the hands of the death pile in fantasy football, which I understand. But guys, stay tuned. It looks like I'm about to beat John at fantasy football this week, and he's going to have some interesting content coming up on his channel here pretty soon.
I'm still holding out hope, bud. I've got 3 guys left. I'm holding out hope.
Duane?
Hey guys, I'm Duane Hale, and I'm the Mothership Products. I'm drinking, as usual, all kinds of things. I have Arrogant Bastard Ale over here. I have Fireball over there. I have Sailor Jerry here. I'm drinking a little of everything. So.
All right, John?
Hey guys, I am John, Cincinnati Picker. I am drinking a Christian Moorline IPA. My mother-in-law actually got me a 15-pack of beer, like all these different Christian Moorline beers, as a housewarming gift. So thank you, Betsy, if you're watching this.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. Okay, well, tonight I thought it would be fun to talk about selling clothes on eBay. I think it's a great place for beginners to start because you can find it, pretty abundantly and also for pretty cheap. And I think all of us hustle a little bit of it. So I guess my first question to everyone would be, like, what type of clothing do you like to sell? Like men's, women's, kids? What is like your specialty that you like to sell? Who wants to go first? Or I'll just call on someone. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's volunteering for this topic.
Okay, you're laughing a little too hard, John. We're going to start with you.
Okay, so with clothes, I tried to fight it for a really long time, but I saw how much money everybody else was making and how easy it was. So I've tried to start dabbling in it. I mainly try to do the easier stuff. Like I'll do hats, anything that's new with tags I'll pick up. Watching Andy, I know to get the bigger sizes. So if I see a pretty good name brand, it's like an extra large or double extra large, I'll always pick that up. I don't have a huge inventory of clothes on any given time. I think I've got maybe 5 to 10 pieces on my eBay page that are clothes.
Yeah, same here. I definitely feel like The plus size clothing is something that I always pick up. I pick up the plus size clothing in men's and women's, and they're always really good sellers. So, Shane, what about you? What type of clothing do you look for?
So I mainly try to pick up men's clothes. That's kind of like what I target. I haven't gotten to women's clothes yet, but I'm going to. But I kind of have a plan for that. Is a lot of my women's clothes, it's pretty much going to be all vintage because that's what I do is a lot of vintage clothing. A lot of T-shirts, a lot of concert T-shirts, and some not concert T-shirts that are vintage, like vintage Guess and Tommy Hilfiger, stuff like that, Polo. But also, like my idea is I'm going to start getting into women's clothing next year, and I'm actually going to branch off and do Etsy as well. And a lot of my vintage women's clothing will go into an Etsy store.
Oh yes, I love to hear that. Nice. You'll have a lot of fun on Etsy. And if, like with me, whenever it's a vintage item, I'll always cross-post it on Etsy too. So I'll put it on eBay, then I'll put it on Etsy.
Nice, nice.
And Krillin just sent us a super chat, you guys. Thank you. He says, I officially have a Death Mountain. I'm right there with you, Krillin. All right, Andy, what about you? I know for sure you hustle some clothes.
I definitely I like to hustle some clothes. Probably one of my favorite clothing things to hustle is Harley. I love selling Harley Davidson stuff in men's and women's. I don't do a lot of women's clothing, but in the Harley stuff for sure, that always sells well. And I do a lot of like the higher end men's brands and stuff like that. I don't do like the Ronnie Hart, high end brands because we don't have those in my area, but I will just say, I guess the middle of the road to higher end stuff. But dress shirt. I like doing the dress shirts, polo shirts, that sort of stuff. Hats. I really been enjoying doing hats. I've been really getting into that a lot more, and I've recently started flipping shoes. And shoes you can get some decent money out of. I can't sell a pair of women's shoes to save my butt, and I found some like decent shoes, even with like boxes, but I can't sell those. Women's stuff is just really difficult for me. Even like every once in a while, like my wife, like she's going through the rack, she'll find like an Orvis shirt or something like that, like in the the women's stuff, and she'll like, hey, do you want this? And depending on the price and what have you, I'll grab it. But I have that stuff just sits for me. So I just really focus on the men's stuff, and big sizes. God, if I get 3X and bigger, and that stuff's like gold, and it goes like super quick.
Yes. I agree. What about you, Jory? Have you been hustling any clothes or hats?
Shoes have been the most recent thing I got into. I just sold some Prada sandals for about $100.
Very nice.
Yeah, from the Goodwill too. But if I'm at the Goodwill or a thrift store and it's half off, I'll browse through the clothing, or at a garage sale if the price point's just really cheap. And I usually look for just more vintage stuff or concert tees. Men's shoes around here is hard to find though because the winters, the salt just destroys them, so you never find any that are really in good shape, other than the odd dress shoe usually.
Right. Lonnie.
Oh, I was hoping you'd forget about me. No, recently I've gotten pretty hardcore into clothing, and I stay pretty much I try and get mostly men's jeans, but I will buy women's jeans too because I see them at garage sales a lot. And I started out being really picky, buying just Levi's, and then I found that a lot of mall brands sold well too, and I'm only paying about $1 a pair for all of them. And I've been doing pretty well. That they're labor intensive, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. But the returns are pretty decent, and like you said, Tonya, they're abundant.
Right. It's hard to pass them up too when you can get them for $1 a piece.
Right.
And really, to me, I feel like with jeans, hopefully I'm not yelling you guys, my ears are stuffed up. I feel like with jeans, the measurements really go pretty quick, as opposed to like, say, listing a 2-piece suit or something. There's a lot more measurements involved in that. With jeans, really, for me, it's just a couple, right? Like the inseam and the waist. And
I do 3 typically. I do like the inseam, the waist, and then on women's jeans, especially the rise. Yeah,
the rise. That's true.
They like to know that. And then the other thing I've been doing a lot of is hats, like Andy said, because they're super easy. Like click, click, click. Pictures are taken. What kind is it? Is it snapback? Is it adjustable dad hat? What is it? And then that's it. You're done. and it might sit for a while, but it takes up no room.
So what were you saying, dad hat?
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like when you get into clothing, you got to know. Like I was talking last week about mom jeans, you know, like the high waist jeans.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking dad hat. What is this for people who don't know?
A dad hat is like, let's see this. Okay, this is kind of, I don't know if this is or not. Andy, what do you think, man? It's like, you know, you have the snap, you have like fitted hats that have no adjustment because they only fit one size. Then you have snapbacks that actually have the snaps, you know, the little plastic band on the back. And then you have like this kind of hat where there's a strap.
I list those as adjustable strap because you can't use Velcro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I always just list those as an adjustable strap.
But a lot of people call the hats with the adjustable straps on them dad hats for whatever reason.
Okay. Do they actually use that keyword in the listing?
Yeah, I've actually been seeing dad hat. I haven't used it myself, but I've been seeing it like when I'm looking for comps and stuff like that. You have people actually listing dad hat.
Yeah.
Here, I got a picture pulled up. I can do a quick screen share, Tonya.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Tell you what, go ahead and lock it on mine, and then I'll just I'll show this really quick. So this is the kind that I think he's talking about, is this little strap that you can actually pull it through, and then I think there's a little button that like snaps in, right?
Yeah.
On some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them just it's just a slide and then it crimps down.
I think that's a taco hat.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure is.
Okay, Duane, what kind of clothing do you look for? I know for a fact you sell some too.
Yeah, that's probably the bulk of my business is men's clothing. As everybody else here, go for the larger sizes. I will sell women's jeans, but that's about all from women. And I have to say, it's just because you guys are so damn picky.
Mm-hmm.
Women, I have had more returns on my the 5 things of women's clothes that I've done. I've had 3 of them returned. They're just so much pickier than a man. A man says extra large, yeah, that's close enough. If it doesn't fit just right, I'll just wear it anyway. But women, they're very particular. So, and I even have props. Hold on, because I got some big things. Hold on. So I found these yesterday. I have 2 of them, like a circus tent. They're
let me walk it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
They're 5X's. You can see that even the manufacturer had to split their own at 6 inches in the middle there. Right here, this blue is all added material after the fact.
Oh, wow.
Those, and then I found the biggest jeans I've ever seen in my life. Hold on.
I didn't even think to get some props to have with me to show you guys.
Yeah, kidding,
I
right?
should have done that.
Wayne was prepared.
I mean, big time.
So these are 30s, new with tags. I can't even get them all the way in the picture there. So, but they're new with tag Levi's Carpenters, like I said, 5630s. So,
wow,
nice.
Yeah, they're huge.
That's a wide, short man.
Yeah,
dude, will they fit in a padded flat rate, you think?
No.
It's going to take a hell of a lot of squishing to get it in to get it to a padded flat rate. So,
Yeah,
they're big.
I had a pair of 60s and I couldn't get them in a padded flat rate. I had to actually put them in like one of the shirt boxes. Yeah, they were enormous, and they are like incredibly difficult to photograph because they're so wide.
Yeah, I haven't got to that part yet. That's where they were over on the photographing table over there. But I think my backdrop's only 3 feet wide.
Yeah,
it's only 3 feet wide, so I might be in trouble.
Terry Berry says, "Let's take a moment and appreciate Duane's shirt."
Right? I told him. Yeah, I love it.
The fuchsia tropical right here.
Yeah, you're rocking it.
So
okay,
hey, we're doing a clothing show, so I had to represent.
You're so prepared today, Duane.
I know, man. What's up with you?
Right. Okay, so like I said, I like to hustle or sell the the plus size clothing, but I also love to sell men's Hawaiian shirts too. I always have. So they're just like Duane's shirt. They're so colorful. And I mean, if I was a guy, I would be wearing them all the time. I think they're so much fun, and you can really express your personality with them too, you know? So another thing.
What does this one say about me?
I don't know.
About your personality. I mean, what does this say?
It says that you're not shy. Right.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so we talked about the types of clothing. Let's talk about the brands. Like, what kind of labels are you looking for when you're thrifting? Are there any, like for me, like I know with the Hawaiian shirt, Jam's World is really a good brand to pick up if you see that one. Let's see, what else? I always say this wrong. Is it Rain Spooner? I know you spell it.
Rain.
Yeah, Rain Spooner. Yeah, I always pick up those if I see them, and they sell really well too. As far as the women's plus size clothing, I like Maggie Barnes and like Catherine's do well. What about you, Andy? What are some of the name brands that you look for?
There's so many. That's the thing. Is like my go-tos are always Orvis. I love finding Orvis stuff. You know, I mean, everybody knows the Ralph Lauren's, but I'm super picky on those. I just picked up an awesome one this week, probably the neatest one I've ever found. You know, with the big ponies, and it was all like paint splattered. I mean, if it's bright colored and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, those are the type I like to get. Like I said, I'm super picky with those. You know, I mean, Tommy Bahamas. I'll pick up like Tory Richard once in a while. I do like the Tory Richard Hawaiian shirts. Those are pretty decent. Some of the Hilo Hattie ones. If I'm picking up Hawaiians. Yeah. You know, Fossa Knobs, another brand I'll pick up. You know, quite a bit if I can find that. They tend to do pretty decent for me. God, like I said, there's just so many, you know, like I said, Harley's my favorite. I mean, that one, man, I don't pass that one Harley at all. I mean, I love picking up Harley stuff. I sell a ton of Harley stuff.
I just sold a pair of Harley ladies flip-flops last week.
Oh, wow.
You and flip-flops.
I know, flip-flops, right? What about you, Shane? What kind of brands do you look for?
For me, I look for a lot of the like the name brands, like Andy said, Polo, you know, Tommy Hilfiger. I will pick up Harley stuff occasionally, but it just it doesn't sell great for me, but it sells okay. I just sold like a Harley T-shirt with like a big mobster on it. It said Chicago, Illinois on it, which is really cool. But it's like especially like the really cool. Like the mobster Harley T-shirt, it's kind of unique. So the more than unique stuff, also like just to kind of throw this out there on like concert T-shirts, a lot of those will completely stump people because they don't have really name brands. They're more of like Hanes or they're Gildan or whatever. And that's what they print those on. So I look for a lot of those, just the graphics. But like even like hats, like I got this hat and I'll show you real quick. This is a vintage hat and it's made by Ebbets Field. But it's like an Ebbets Field flannel hat. And it's actually, I believe I did some research. It's a Green Bay Packers hat. And these go for 50 to 80 around there.
Nice.
Yeah, so, you know, I look for a lot of like the unique stuff, but I will also do tons of Tommy Hilfiger, Polo, Ralph Lauren. Columbia PFG is a good brand. It's the performance fishing gear. That's pretty good.
Sorry, I got distracted by something. Lonnie, what about you? I know like you like the Levi's and jeans, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of where I started, and I'm still learning, you know, because that's not my go-to thing. It's more like electronics and stuff like that. But I started with Levi. I'm kind of branching out. I've picked up quite a bit of. I had a nice Guess haul not too long ago that I've done well with. Some vintage Guess. I've picked up some Tommy stuff that's sold. The mall brands, like, I mean, look, I'm in a different level than a lot of people are. So I'm like my average jeans sale might be about $15 plus shipping. Okay. Keep that in mind when you listen to me. Like I'm selling like American Eagle, you know, like just probably not the best brands, but they sell. And, you know, I'm getting anywhere from $13 to $20 depending on what they are. Now, The vintage guest stuff, I got a little more. I have done some T-shirts too, and like Shane was saying, the T-shirts are difficult because the tag, it's all about that tag, and it could take you a little bit of time to research other solds and figure out which tags are legit and which are reproductions or which are parking lot T-shirts, all that stuff. So, I mean, every little niche you get into has its own stuff you got to learn. It's so crazy.
Right. Jory, what about you? Are there certain brands that you like to be on the lookout for?
Vintage higher end brands. Like I just sold some LL Beans that were older 70s style, I think, and they sold pretty quick for 30.
Yeah, LL Bean does sell.
And I like to get 90s stuff, and I'm not very picky on the brand if it's really colorful and bright. Like I did like old Fila jackets and the old Nike and Adidas. If it's that early 90s with the really bright colors, I usually tend to grab those. I love grabbing Harley stuff. I've never had an issue selling that. Or Indian motorcycle stuff too. That almost sells quicker than the Harley sometimes.
Yeah. Indian and Triumph. Triumph does real well too.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of Triumph here. I'd grab that anytime.
Lucky Brand. Lucky Brand has their own like line of stuff with Triumph on it, and it's great because a lot of people like Lucky Brand, and then they throw that Triumph on there as well. I mean, it's not vintage, but you get the two together, and that stuff always sells really quick for me if I can find the two together.
I've never heard of the Triumph before.
Yeah, hang tight. I'll show you.
K-bike. Nick might know about a little bit about that. I think Triumph's a British bike, is it not?
Yeah.
Bike. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right. It doesn't have a picture of the motorcycle. Sometimes they'll have the picture of the motorcycle, but like this is typically like what the logo looks like.
Okay.
So it'll have like kind of like this type of logo. So, and then this is on, should be a Lucky shirt. Yeah, this is a Lucky Brand shirt. So, but yeah, unfortunately it's a small. So this one here might take a little bit to sell. But if this is a bigger size, it'd be gone in just a couple days.
Right.
I bet.
That's awesome. Thanks for showing us. Duane, do you pick up certain brands?
I do. And what I found with clothing is brands are about 90% of the game. If you know the brands that people like, that's going to make your most money. And then after that, it's style and colors and stuff like that. When I first started, I picked up things that I thought were cool. So I just threw that right out the window and said, okay, I'm going to just look at brands. I don't care what they look like. And I think, a lot of the clothes I sell are the ugliest things I've ever seen. That's all I care.
Ugly sells.
A lot of the brands I do are, I try and do a little bit higher end brands, a little more dress shirt sometimes, Brooks Brothers, those kind of things. The slim fits really do well there. Duane is a Swedish brand that's really good. Let's see. Let me think of some other high end ones. Canali does some good dress shirts. Brioni. Those kind of things. I don't see them as much as like Ronnie. Ronnie does that kind of stuff, and he makes killer money on it. Those I like to find, but things that I'll find out here in Utah a lot are like pearl snap shirts, Western pearl snap shirts. P. Filson, which is a really good high-end Seattle brand. In fact, I got 2 of them right over here. I just picked them up yesterday for $3 a piece. And they're really soft, and they're really they're like a lumberjack type shirt. They're really good, really well made. There's so many out there now. You just kind of get a good knowledge, a bunch, and I'll watch people's haul videos, or actually sales videos. Haul videos are cool, but sales videos tell you, when they really sell.
Right.
But I think I have over there a fashionable.
A what?
Fashionable.
What is that?
I actually got corrected on this. It's pronounced Fasanabe because it's French, and I had a lady actually. She actually got a hold of me, and she because I was always pronouncing it wrong too, and she goes, "Okay, you're driving me nuts every time you do your videos." She goes, and so she sent me a voice. She sent me a voice clip. She goes, "This is how you pronounce it." She goes, "I think it's like the 2 C's together, or the 2." She goes, "Actually, make an S in French," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, because I used to always say "Fakanob" or this and that. And she's like, "You're driving me nuts every time you do that."
Do either one of y'all have the label for that?
I'll go grab one. I get it right here.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I don't know that I've ever seen that
They've
one
got about
before.
3 different labels for that shirt. There's like 3 different ones.
All right, here we go. A second here. I got to figure out where the hell I am.
Yeah, that's
You see it? Is it okay? Yeah, so that's fashionable, fashionable, fashionably, whatever. It's one of the. It sells really well. I don't care if it's shit how to say it.
it does, they sound pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
I mean, it's a $25 to $30 shirt.
Yeah, exactly. So,
is John back? I can't tell.
He is.
yeah, he's here.
Yeah, sorry about that. Our water sprinkler was malfunctioning in the back, so we had to go fix it. I hear you guys talking about brands. I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on brands, but I did scroll through some of my solds recently. And these are going to be obvious brands, guys, so I apologize. I'm not going to have any great bolos for you. Lucky Brand jeans, North Face hoodie. I did just sell this vintage Adidas like track warm-up jacket that I thought was pretty cool. A lot of times with this stuff,
Oh yeah.
what I'm learning is just from watching Andy, from watching different people that are picking stuff up, or if it's something I haven't seen before, I just look it up and figure it out that way. Like, okay, it looks like this brand's selling pretty good. I sold a Thomas Dean shirt recently. I'll tell you what I did really good with. I got this haul about 2 months ago, and it was just all kinds of new clothes, and I sold a bunch of these Hurley men's like swim trunks that were new. But I feel like it's one of those things where if it's got the tags or if it's in really good condition and you can get it for cheap, just take a chance on it, and you'll kind of learn that way.
Right, I agree. I take chances all the time on clothing just because it's so cheap.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is how do you display your clothing? I know there's this subject is pretty much split right in half, right? Because there's a lot of people who like to do flat lays, and yet there's still a lot of people who like to use the mannequins. For me, I kind of do a combination of both. Sometimes it just depends really, on which way you think the piece is going to look better. So I have mannequins I use, and sometimes I flat lay. So I know that Duane has Fernando.
Yeah, Fernando.
Fernando likes to model clothing for Duane.
Yeah, absolutely. I do jeans.
Saucy.
I do jeans. I do a flat lay on jeans because he doesn't have a lower half. So
Right.
But other than that, I do all my shirts on. Unless they're really small. If they're like small or extra small, they won't fit on Fernando. It's just too tight. It looks stupid. So
wait, is Fernando? He's a small guy.
No. He's like a large to extra large.
Okay.
A small shirt, it doesn't fit on very well.
Right. What about you, Shane?
So with me, I just have a white background. It's just like a white canvas background, and I have a female mannequin and a male mannequin. Just the upper half. And then I just flat lay jeans. So all jeans I flat lay. Shoes, like boots, like women's boots. I have a couple actually like stretchers that go inside that can make them look full and stand up good.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, cool.
Curlin just sent another super chat. He says, Bolo reverse weave champion sweatshirts. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I'm not sure what it is. Like,
It says reverse weave on the tag. I know that. I don't know what a reverse weave is, though.
I think they're kind of from the 90s, I believe. It's more of like a vintage type of. I know they were real hot here a while ago, but
yeah. So Greg Valley Picker in the chat says that he just got a mannequin, and what a difference it makes in his sales. So I think that having mannequins, if you're selling clothing, is definitely a good thing to be doing. Who have we not talked to? Jory, how are you displaying your clothing when you sell it?
I have a mannequin with no arms because I regrettably broke one of his arms when he dropped moving them. But I'll use the mannequin for the shirts unless they're really, really big shirts, and I'll just fold them, or same thing, real small. And jeans, I flat lay and usually fold the legs up on an angle from the bottom just so I can fit in the picture easy.
Right.
That's about coats I hang sometimes because they get a little too puffy or hang too low for the mannequin. And yeah, white background and lots of lights. And then I'll fold it at the end for the last picture just so you can see like the sleeves up close if it's a button down or something like that.
Yeah. And a lot of times with the jeans too, I will just hang them on the, the hanger with the clips and take a picture that way too. Let's see, you guys, I should have gone in order. So now I got out of order. Who have I not asked about their displaying?
You haven't asked me. Yeah. So let me show y'all what, can I screen share, Tonya?
Of course. Why are you even asking me?
To make you feel like you're in control of this thing.
That's right. I'm in control. Don't you forget it.
No, this is another brand I wanted to mention too that I forgot to mention earlier and that is United States government issue. I have sold a lot of BDU clothing, pants and blouses. Not huge money. Like these are used. I'm going to get $15, but you can pick them up for $1 or $2. Okay. And I've already sold through like, I think 8 pairs of these now. And I just got them last weekend. But this is how I display my clothing. It's nothing fancy. All it is a white, basically piece of fabric I got from Walmart. I put that down. I lay my clothing down on it and I take pictures. That's it. It's a flat lay. But it makes a nice clean look. And I don't sell
good.
I don't sell real high end stuff anyway. So it's not so crucial. Like if I was selling suits or something, Yeah,
you have really good lighting too, Lonnie.
Yeah, it works. It works for what I'm selling. I think it depends on what you're selling.
Yeah, so you don't use any mannequins at all. Everything you do is flat lay.
Yeah, I don't really have. I have 2 cheapo umbrella lights and that blanket, and that's it for doing clothing. I don't have anything else. So
it works.
But it's okay. It's not the best. I'm a little limited on what I could do. Like I could never do. I don't think I could do like women's clothing and skirts and stuff like that. I don't think it would work for that.
Yeah, probably not. What about you, John?
I have a mannequin. I just had to buy a new one recently because mine bit the dust. But I found it on Let Go or something like that for like $35. And I do a little bit of like clothing and jackets too on my website.
Nice.
So it's good to have it. Yeah. My photos are not the best. And then for my hats, I've got this little foam head. And I think you can get these at like Hobby Lobby or like Michael's, different places for like $1 or $2. They're just styrofoam. But it has a nice form to it. So I think it helps a little bit.
Yeah. And also I got my glass head at Pier 1. They're like $19.99 and they're also kind of good to use, for displaying the hats too.
Yeah, I got to get a head for for the hats too. They don't look as good just sitting on the table.
Right.
I always just take all my like empty Goodwill bags because I always got like a ton of them. I always just kind of like stuff in a crate. I always just kind of wad up a few of those, shove them up inside, and then I'll set my hat out and it'll leave it, with a nice shape and what have you.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And a lot of times I'll do that with my shoes as well because sometimes, like where the tongue is and stuff, it kind of caves down. I'll just put the Goodwill bags inside of there when I'm photographing my shoes, and they'll puff your shoes out nice. I mean, you obviously got to remove them if you're taking a shot, like down on the inside. But
I do that for backpacks and camera bags too. Yep. I've sold a few purses and I stuffed purses to, kind of make them shape out right.
Nellie says that the screen's stuck on Lonnie.
I just fixed it.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong with
that? So we had a question in the chat from Rick383, and he asked if we are washing these clothes that we're selling.
No.
I only buy clean clothes.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I mean, unless it's an amazing brand.
Yeah, I'll clean shoes. That's about it.
Yeah. Right.
Shoes
Okay.
you almost have to clean.
Yeah, they're almost never nice looking.
I have a question for I guess probably Andy would do it. Okay, here I'm gonna screen share. Okay, for a second.
Yep. All right.
When you do you ever pose your anything on your any of your shirts like this? See how I've because it's a reverse cuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you did. And how do you get it to hold? The way I do it, I have a paper clip that
you
holds
can
it
pin
there.
You can pin it or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
that looks good.
And honestly,
That does look good, yeah.
that little clip that Shane just held up, it works great for doing women's stuff because you can cinch it in the back, so it gives it more of a shape.
Yep.
So it kind of highlights the waist and stuff like that. Yeah, it works great for doing women's clothes.
Even if you have like a shirt that's a little too big for your mannequin, you
Right.
can kind of take this clip and clip it to the back of the shirt to make it look a little tighter in front.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, ever since I got a mannequin, man, it made a huge difference in my clothing sales. I used to flat lay all my stuff, and the mannequin it was night and day. I think it's because it just gives it that nice 3D effect and what have you. And something I've been doing now is even on my mannequin, I finally got a mannequin that I was just hanging on the wall. I finally got a stand for my mannequin, and now I can rotate it. So when I'm taking my pictures,
Nice.
I can, turn it like a quarter of a turn and get kind of side views and stuff like that. So it just gives it that more of a 3D effect, and if you're selling suits and blazers, I mean, that's really, really nice. I don't do a lot of suits and blazers, mostly because the money is great in them, but they're so time consuming.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm just lazy. So
Take up more room.
yeah, and they do take a lot of room, but I mean, the profit on them it's definitely worth your time, but it's just one of those things that I pick them up if I get them super cheap, but I'm just bad about listing them.
I've got a random question for Andy because Andy, I know you do a lot of clothes, and I know in like the fall and the winter there's not a lot of garage sales, so I know you do more clothes in like the off season. So when you go to the thrift store and you get a clothing haul, typically how many pieces do you come away with at each thrift store?
It all depends on the given day. And anymore, I'm so picky about what I grab. Like, a year or 2 years ago, like if I seen a Ralph Lauren shirt, I bought every Ralph Lauren shirt there was. Now, I'll pass 20 of them and maybe grab one. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something. I'm really more focused on the bigger sizes and the stuff that's bright. Pretty much the plain. I mean, unless I'm getting the stuff for a buck or something like that. But I mean, when I'm paying $4 to $6 for a shirt, I want something I know that's going to move real quick. So, and same with a lot of my other stuff. I just go for the more bright stuff. I mean, if it catches my eye on a rack, I know when I put a picture up in my listing, that's going to catch somebody else's eye just as quick as just having some plain, boring plaid shirt or something like that.
Hey, let me mention real quick too. If y'all haven't seen Andy's videos before, go check them out. His pictures are probably some of the best I've seen.
Yeah, they're really good.
I don't. My pictures,
Totally
mine are nowhere near that. But Andy has some great. Like, I really love how he displays his shoes too. You got that little plexiglass thing you use to get one shoe kind of at an angle.
I love that thing. I mean, I think I spent about $10 for it, and man, it's really nice because when you actually do the shoe photo, you can get the whole shoe in the picture instead of when you lay them out flat. You get your shoe laying this way. It's so far away when you're trying to do your photo at a 1-to-1. The shoe's just way out here, but now it sets at that angle, so it takes up that whole thing, so you get a really good shot, of your shoes. Yeah, I really like that thing a lot.
That's a good idea for sure. We're getting a lot of questions in the chat too. Let me see. So Cheryl Siver asked, are there different size mannequins we should buy? And for me, like I definitely have a plus size mannequin that I display my plus size clothing on. And then, I have a couple different sizes that I like to work with for sure. But I think you could make one work if you had to. Don't you? Like if you had a female mannequin, you could probably turn around and use the back of her for like a male, because the shoulders are broader. right?
Heck, I used to use my male mannequin as a female mannequin. But I would just I would just use that clip though, that like what Shane has, and I would just draw the thing in as tight as I could. I mean, yeah, her, you know, the chest wouldn't be as puffy as normal, but you know what I'm saying. The shirt would still look, you know, shapely, I guess is the nicest way.
Andy stuffing a bra with newspaper and toilet paper on mannequin.
My wife's like, "What are you doing with my bras?"
She's walking in on you, adjusting the breasts for the picture.
Why are you putting that on a guy?
If it was me, if I was just starting out clothes, I would probably buy a large male mannequin because that fits the bulk of clothing. They're, for the most part, small clothing doesn't sell real well, or it does, but it takes a while. So a large one, a large mannequin, broad scale, and the same with a woman. I would say not a big woman, but a large woman's bust.
Hey, Duane.
And that's going to get you through most of it. What's
Duane, Gems, Jams, and Junk wants you to. Oh, no. That's for Shane. I'm sorry. Shane, do you have that clip handy? Gems, Jams, Junk wants to see it again.
Yeah. So it's just a plastic clip, and it's quite a bit wider than a clothespin, but it's just a plastic clip, and you can buy them at Walmart. I think they're actually in the laundry aisle as well, I believe.
Looks like a chip clip.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what mine was. It was when I stole off a bag of chips.
It's a little bit like rounded, but it works really well too, especially for hanging clothing. You can hang it, especially on my backdrop, and it's really like stiff. Like it gives a really, really good pinch.
See, mine is just one of the big paper, you know, the old paper clips that hold a whole bunch of papers. And that works pretty good. Only not this big. I usually a smaller one. I just had one of these handy. But that's what I use, because then you can also, once you put it in there, you can fold these down so they don't stick out. That works great for me.
So we had another question in the chat from Josh's Mimi 2006. Are all of you using plain white background?
I am.
I do, yeah.
I do for the most part, yeah.
It depends on what I'm doing.
Anymore.
I'm with Andy. I have the one that I use for the most, but like for jeans or something that's on the, you know, that's flat laid, then it's a white background.
Yeah, I just recently got a 5x7 vinyl background. It's basically, it looks like a brick wall, and then it's got like a wood floor that comes out maybe about, I don't know, 5 feet down, and it comes out about 2 feet where the floor is, and then I just set it to table height, and it looks like I'm just taking my photos just up against like I got it sitting on the floor up against the wall. It looks really nice, and it's really cut down my photo editing time drastically. Because a lot of times taking photos on white, because I do everything in my basement. Natural light down here, I'm only using my big soft boxes. You know, I would always get a yellow tinge to a lot of my stuff, so I would end up a lot of times having to use some editing software, this and that, to get that yellow tinge out. It was just taking me a lot of extra time. So once I got this background, it's cut my photo editing time out drastically, and I can bang out listings so much faster now.
And
one of the things that I found with oh, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Tonya.
go ahead.
The things that I found with my backdrop is that it makes it so I can color clothing much better. You know, I couldn't do white before very easily. I had a black background, and I'm not a photography person, so I couldn't adjust my camera to make it look right. But with this, it's just enough of a difference that it makes it so you can take you know, lighter photos or lighter colors, not on a white background.
Yeah, like white, ivory, and beige were just a nightmare. I hated it. It actually got to it would pretty much be where like I would just leave that stuff at the store because I didn't even want to photograph.
Me too. In fact, I have a box right here by my desk of all the white shit because I haven't taken pictures of it, because it was like, why did I buy this? I can't photograph it.
Yep. And now that I have this background, yeah, I can take white photos, and they come out just fine. Yeah, it's just enough it's just enough contrast, just like you said, Duane, that it makes all the difference in the world.
And these things are not expensive, guys. I mean, I think I bought 2 different ones, and I think I paid $12 shipped. So I mean, go on and just take a look at, just put photograph backdrops, and eBay has them. I have a 3x5. You said you had a 5x7. I probably should have went with a 5x7. But the 3x5 for a standard mannequin, it works great. But if you're going to have something that's really wide, or a skirt or something like that, you'd probably want to go with a 5x7.
Is that what you said that you have, Andy? Is the 5x7?
Yeah, I got a 5x7, and that works
for sure.
Perfect.
And it's just a solid white background?
No. It's kind of like a real light gray off-white brick wall is basically what it looks like.
I'm gonna check your
and then
picture.
it's got like a
Hey,
and
Andy,
then it has basically like some wood flooring coming out. Yeah.
why don't you show them a screenshot of one of your listings that has that picture back? Because somebody else asked if you could screenshot some sample photos.
Oh, hang on.
Bitch.
Oh, all right. It looks like I sold a pair of jeans.
For me though, I even photograph my white shirts on white backgrounds.
Really?
I just adjust my lighting a little bit. So like that's a listing I did of a white vintage Tommy
That's
Hilfiger
nice,
shirt.
man. That's a good That's a good picture.
Yeah,
Really?
that does look nice.
Yeah, that's really good of white on white.
And I didn't edit it at all.
Yeah, guys. I just sold a pair of Lucky Brand jeans for $29 in shipping. So drink up, bitches.
Cheers.
Yes, Andy.
Dude, I just tried to drink my daiquiri real fast, and I just got a brain freeze. Oh my god!
Oh no!
Lonnie, put your thumb on the roof of your mouth and press really hard.
Oh my god!
You're such a girl, Lonnie. Oh my
That
god.
really works.
Not only are you drinking a daiquiri, but now it hurts your head.
Brain freeze.
I was thinking, gosh, he sounds like me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and move on. So, what kind of price points do you look for when it comes to clothing?
Andy was going to show people, I think.
Whoa, that sounds like a lightsaber.
What the hell? Yeah.
Darth Vader's
Like a
coming up the
Cylon
stairs.
or something?
What is that?
It's you. I don't know what it is.
What? What is that?
What is going
What was
on?
that?
Okay,
What's that?
maybe we shouldn't screen share.
That straight up hurt.
Andy, are you good, dude? We can't hear you.
Yeah, hang tight here. Yeah, let me see if I can find something here real quick. Just shit that y'all being mean, ain't you?
No, you had some crazy ass sounds coming, dude. I don't know what they were, but they were nuts.
I've
did.
never heard anything like that.
Yeah.
Dial up modem.
Yeah, dial up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was on the. Oh my God,
No,
that last show got out of. Yeah, that last show got out of hand, didn't it? All right. I'm trying to find a decent photo that kind of shows.
People in the chat are saying that you woke up her cat. So,
That was
Yeah.
a weird
Sorry,
ass noise.
Belinda.
How do I get out of here?
Andy just is not prepared for this. Man,
I was
Sorry.
no,
Right on the
you guys
spot.
did to me. Hang on, I got to figure out how to get back to my.
Lonnie,
I
where's
lost
that
my-
AOL soundbite?
yeah.
No comment.
All
No
right,
comment whatsoever.
all right, here we go. Let me do. I'll do a screen share here. This just be easier than trying to pull up my thing. Okay.
Yeah, I hate when I have to pull up my thing.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, whose channel are we on tonight, boys?
I was nice. I didn't say anything bad.
Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
nice.
it's nothing crazy, but like I said, that's just kind of how I, been doing some of my stuff. This was like a Harley gas cap I just did the other day, but you can see how it has like that wood floor, but then there's still that brick in the background, stuff like that. So it's just something just a little different.
Yeah, I like that. It looks nice.
I don't know. Here, like I just took a picture of like some Legos. This is like some Legos I did. I picked up something I just did earlier. I mean, it's just kind of just enough that there's a little bit of contrast or whatever. I picked up this stupid mug. Actually, this is probably going to go. It's stupid, right? Yeah, this is just going to go in a local Facebook group. But I got it for $1. I mean, I'll sell that for 10 or 15 bucks. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it works really nice because I don't have to monkey with a lot of that other stuff. So.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for showing us those pictures.
Yeah, let me see how
They're saying they can't see them. They're saying they can't see them, Andy. I don't know.
but you guys were able to see them?
Yeah. Hey, Tonya, can you lock it?
On our end.
I'm locked. It's locked.
It's locked? Okay.
Huh, it's not locked on mine. When whoever's talking,
it won't lock on our end.
That's true.
Okay. All right.
I've got the white square around Andy.
Okay. All right. Is it showing that I'm still screen sharing or no?
No.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Well, these guys got to see it.
Oh, they were awesome. Just trust us.
Yeah, they look really good.
I'm sorry, you guys. I have to remember to lock it.
Honestly, the best thing is you guys just go to my channel and check out any of my Making Money Monday videos. They usually always show you a lot of my sales updates and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll have a new one out tomorrow. I didn't do one last week. I had a lot going on.
Right.
Just some family stuff and what have you. So, but I'll definitely have a new one out this week. So it'll either be out Monday or Tuesday. So,
Andy, why don't you say something in the chat so people can go subscribe to your channel? And then when the show's over, I'm going to put everybody's channel in there, you guys.
Oh yeah, because you didn't
slacking.
include me this week.
Yes,
I see how you are.
Come on, Tonya.
Oh, Tonya.
Oh, come on. You know I usually do. Okay, so let's talk about price point, you guys. What kind of profits are you looking to buy? What kind of profits are you looking for whenever you're selling your clothing? Like for me, if I buy something for $1 or $5, I'd like to at least get $20 or $25.
For me, I don't do it quite that way. I just do it by brand name. Like I'll know that certain brand names pull in 25 to 30, and so I won't spend over $5 or $6 on it. I don't do the one to, because most everything I buy is from a thrift store. So everything I'm going to get is typically like $7, between like 3 and 7. So I know, and I'm constantly trying to up my, price per sale, but usually about 25 to 30 is where I like to be.
Right. What about you, Jory?
I don't like to dip under 25. The only time I will is getting into the storage units. You get big lots of clothing. So those I'll just sell for a couple bucks and, whatever. If you make $1 or $2 off of it, it's fine. It's just to clear it out. But if I'm at a thrift store or anything like that for $1 to $5, I don't like to go below the $25 for it to be worth my time.
All right, Shane.
So I kind of take a little bit different stance on this. So I kind of like a lot of the vintage clothing sells for a decent amount of money. Like I sold the Mariah Carey T-shirt for $100. I have 2 shirts in my closet now that are probably going to sell around the 200 range. And those are vintage concert T-shirts. I have a Dimension Hat Ross T-shirt that's like the only comp is $243.
Wow.
But
Very cool.
Like my mindset is when I go into a thrift store is as long as I can make $5 in profit, I will buy it.
Okay.
$5 of profit, and it does depend on a lot of things because my theory is when a department store runs sales, or when you go Black Friday shopping, you don't go to the store for everything, you go for one thing. So they draw you to the store with one thing, and then you may buy other items in the store. So with me, a vintage or any kind of concert T-shirt sells decently good. People are, love music. They're looking for a lot of those, or even brand names. I'll buy it. If I can make $5 in profit and I know it's going to draw people to my store, I'll go ahead and buy it and list it as long as it's $5 in profit.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Dude, if I did that, I would have a serious death mountain.
Well,
yeah.
Because everything nearly anything can make you $5. I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I kind of have a similar outlook on clothing, like with the jeans. I want to buy jeans for $1. I want to sell them for about 15, maybe 14. my goal is to make $10 free and clear on each pair. So my thinking is, if I can process through 6 pairs of jeans, chilling, right? 6 pairs of jeans per hour. And by the time I take the photos, do the listing, I bag them up, they're ready to ship. Okay. I just have to pull them off the shelf, slap a label, and they're gone. I want to make $10 a pair. I want to list 6 pair an hour. I want to make $60 an hour. That's damn good money. That's my goal with clothing, is to make, say, $60 an hour. That would be pretty friggin' awesome in my book.
It's an interesting way of thinking about it. I've never thought of it that way. But I do it per piece, not per hour.
But you got to think. I think about it like that because, like, this past weekend, I focus on like such a narrow band of items, like jeans, that I picked up 17 pairs of jeans this past weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going to list 2 shirts, 3 jeans, pair of underwear, and some socks. I'm listing jeans. You know, so
right?
It's easier to
and
get.
It goes so much faster when you batch them too. When you're doing all teams, it goes so much faster.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Working in batches is the way to go for sure.
If I can, that's the only way I'll list. Yeah.
And that $5 in profit for me wasn't just for everything. If it's something I know that's going to get really good traffic and I'm going to sell it for $9 and I picked it up on half off day, I will buy it for $5 in profit because I know it's going to draw that traffic.
Sure.
It depends how long it's going to sit, I find, too. Like, if I'm going to sell something in the next day or in 2 days, I don't mind only making $2 or $3 off it just because the sell-through rate's so quick.
Right.
Well, and see, what I do is I have a talking basically about what Lonnie was talking about, is I have a thing. I mean, it's not really a template. It's just a listing that I go in and basically I sell similar and then I change. Here, let me show you real quick. It'll only take a sec here. All that craziness. Okay, click on me, Tonya.
Okay, hang on. Okay. Thank you for the reminder.
So, yeah, no problem. So this is just a shirt that I listed, Robert Graham, $41.99. These are the different pictures. I just take a couple of different pictures. But what I do is I have this. This is what I kind of have a standard template. It's not really, like I said, it's not really a template, but it's what I use. I'll just go sell similar, go through here, highlight this, change it to, Wrangler, whatever, and then I change just a couple of different things. There's my measurements, my 3 measurements. I have this little thing here so people know what measurements I take, and then I'm done. I have my business. What are they called? Payment options and my return policies set up. So I just click, and it's done.
Look how fancy pants over there. Mothership products.
Well, I'm telling you, I mean, when this is your kind of your bulk, your bread and butter, I mean, you learn all the little tweaks to make it faster because, I would love to do hard goods. You take 6 pictures, do a quick listing, and it's done. Whereas, with shirts or something like that, you have to take pictures, you have to measure it a little bit more. There's a little bit more involved. So in order to make decent money, you kind of have to be efficient at the listing part.
Right.
Unless you just find stuff like Ronnie, $3,000 suits, then you can make money, whatever.
Right. Okay, John, did we talk to you about what kind of profits you look for?
Not yet. I look for high profits only because I don't now specifically with clothes, because at least in my personal experience, it seems like clothes take longer for me to sell. That might not be the case with you guys, but I'm usually looking for a pretty high ROI with clothes. If it's going to sell for 20 or more, I don't want to pay more than 5 for it. And if it doesn't sell for 20 or more, I usually don't mess with it, only because I know that the clothing market on eBay is pretty saturated. So you've got to have something kind of special, or it's got to be something that's more desirable, like a bigger size or kind of a unique brand or something. But if you're messing with those $10 to $15 or $5 whatever clothes, you're competing against hundreds of thousands of listings. So I try to get it cheap and only sell it for $20 and up.
Okay. Yvonne is asking, who is next to Tonya? That's Shane. He is Rise and Grind Picker. So she was asking about the vintage concert T-shirts, Shane.
Nice, yeah, and that's like not really the bulk of my business. Like pretty much the bulk is clothing, but the concert T-shirts, that's mainly what I look for. I mean, that's a huge chunk, like 50%.
Yeah, where do you find all those? Just at the thrift stores? Where do you live at?
So I live in Illinois, a couple hours.
Oh, that's right.
Indy.
I knew that.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. T-shirts are something that I don't usually look at every time I go thrift. Like, I might maybe once every couple of weeks I'll remember to do it, but there's just so many of them, right? It takes a long time. And my arm starts getting tired.
I'm with you. I don't honestly look at T-shirts either. One of the things I do know, I heard somebody say once, is that most concerts are black. So if you are going to look through an entire rack of clothing, focus on the black ones, because that's where you're going to find concert tees and stuff like. Sure, they have them in white too for women, but I would say that's the bulk. And I was going to ask you the same thing, Shane. Is a lot of concert shirts? How many do you have in your arsenal there?
So what? You broke up a little bit, Duane. Did you say what do I have in my arsenal, like when I'm sourcing?
I said is how many vintage concert tees do you have?
So right now, my closet, I have a huge closet, a double closet of vintage clothing, and it's stuffed full of stuff I haven't listed yet.
Oh my gosh.
And I probably have over 150 to 100 pieces stuffed in my closet right now that I haven't listed, but the concert tees are probably around 30 to probably 40.
And over how long did you amass those?
Some of them have been sitting there a couple months, but there's certain thrift stores, like I will go in and walk out empty-handed a lot of the times. But see, what's good for me is I live within an hour of Peoria, Illinois, Bloomington, Champaign, and Springfield. Those are your 4 cities where they have all the concerts in Illinois. And so I will walk in a thrift store and I might find 10 to 15 concert T-shirts in one haul. Just depending on that. Some of them I may not come across one for like a month, and then some I may find 3 or 4. But I also do like the vintage LL Bean rugby polos. I'm also in like the vintage designer as well. But the concert T-shirts, I just look for those a lot. But a lot of times I'll go through a whole rack and look for the clothes for the concert T-shirts. But also if I have a limited amount of time, I will do like exactly what Duane said, and I'll go right to the black T-shirts and start sorting through them.
Yeah.
Hey, about your, if it's okay, have you found that rock or country? I mean, do you have? Is there a genre that does better in concert tees?
Oh, absolutely. I have a few country ones right now, and they do. They do all right. Some of the vintage ones, I mean, you're looking at sometimes 15, 20, 25. A lot of the rock or hip hop or rap will sell super good, and some of them are a couple $100, depending on like the tour they did or the year of the shirt. Like that Dimension Hat Ross shirt I have I didn't even know the band. I looked over it, went back a week later, and it was still there, and I picked it up and realized it's a German punk rock band or something like that.
Wow.
What's the name of it?
Mine's a 1990, and there was a 1989 that sold for over 243.
That's
oh my
crazy.
gosh. What's the name of the band?
Dimension Hat Ross. So
Wow.
DIMENSION, then Hat Ross. Yeah.
So Thelma Thrift brings up a good point in the chat. She says that not all of the vintage ones are going to be black. She says that some of the 70s, the early 70s, can often be light colors. So
and that's what I was saying is if you're like he was saying, if you're in a hurry, because I mean when I go to my thrift store,
oh yes,
rows, it's like, oh my goodness,
yes.
I'm not going through every shirt. I'll go to the black ones just to narrow it down. But yeah, I agree. I'm sure there are other ones out there.
Right.
Yeah. See, and I tend to avoid the black section as well. I mean, God, that sounded horrible.
Way to go, Andy. Jeez.
God, that sounded horrible. The t-shirt, yeah, the t-shirt section, because like where I do a lot of Harley stuff, I don't like to pick up the Harley black tees because there's so many of them. I like to find the odd color ones because those are the ones that tend to move a lot quicker because everybody has a closet full of black Harley tees. In the same with like another t-shirt that sells really good for me is Life is Good. I don't know why, but I can sell Life is Good t-shirts all day for $20 a pop. They sell great, and they're always some bright color or whatever. So it's like it seems to be that I always tend to stay away from. I mean, I will look through that section, but it's not always my go-to section. I always look at the colored stuff first.
Life is Good. They sell coffee mugs too.
Yeah, and that's one of the very few coffee mugs I pick up is Life is Good mugs. They're usually always good for $20 with free ship, $24 free ship for me. Yes.
Okay, are y'all ready to move on to the next subject? Oh my goodness, don't mess with that. Put that back, please. Kurt's over there messing with my lighting. No.
Oh, see, and I thought you were talking to God. I'm like, God, what are you doing? Had a little too much drink.
Okay. So let's talk about measurements. So I know that some people, and I want to say Thelma doesn't measure. I want to say it seems like I remember she said only if they ask or they request it. So do you guys automatically put the measurements in your clothing listings?
What's a measurement?
Every single listing.
Yeah, well,
I do.
Like,
You're supposed to measure the clothes?
Yes. How about
this
you,
shows
Duane?
you how much I know about this topic.
Duane, do you do measurements? Yeah.
I do 3 measurements. And if it's a woman's, do more. But I just do the standard 3, which is across the chest, pit to pit, the total length and the length of the sleeves.
Okay.
Really thought about it lately, and I thought, why am I doing this? Because when I go to buy a shirt, I don't ask all those damn questions. I just say extra large, or well, for me, it's like 3 extra large. I don't think about it.
Right. And
see, for me, that drives me absolutely crazy when they don't put the measurements in there because I'm 6'5" and I have extremely long arms. So for me, whenever I buy a shirt with long sleeves, I need to see that it says a 36 or 37-inch sleeve because if I buy an extra large shirt or a double extra large shirt and it's got a 33, 34 sleeve or a 35 sleeve, that thing is not going to fit me at all. And it drives me nuts when I see that because they usually will just put the pit to pit and the length. They never put the sleeve length, and it's like,
right.
Oh my God, it would, and I always got to take and write them. Hey, can you guys send me the measurements for the sleeves? I have long arms, and so I think the arm measurement is really actually more important, especially on long sleeve shirts, than some of the other measurements.
Right.
Andy, serious question. All right, can you dunk a basketball?
Yes, I can. Well, probably not now. I could dunk a basketball.
Oh my God! I had no idea you were so tall. That is very tall.
Yeah, I'm 6'5", but yeah, I'm tipping the heavier end of the scale right now. So I don't get off the ground near as far as I used to.
Right.
Dude, I have a vertical leap of about a ½ inch, so you got me beat no matter what.
But yeah, I used to be able to dunk a ball back in the day.
Awesome. Jory, what about you? Do you do measurements?
I do length, pit to pit for the chest, and then if it's a long sleeve shirt, I'll do the sleeve length, but I don't measure t-shirts. I just put medium, large, extra large, whatever the t-shirt is.
Okay.
And I've never had any issues with it yet or anyone asked for measurements.
Yeah. I like to do measurements because once I list my clothing, I typically take it up to my storage unit, and I don't want to have to be going to my storage unit and getting that piece and bringing it back and measuring it, and it's just a hassle. So I just try and do it whenever I list it. Shane, did I ask you? Do you do measurements?
I can't remember, but if I answered this question already, yes, I do measurements on everything, even t-shirts. But on t-shirts, just like Duane said, the 3, shoulder, pit to pit, and top of the collar to bottom hem. Yeah, then that's really all I do for t-shirts. And if it's long sleeve, the sleeve. And on jeans, pretty much everything that Lonnie said he measures is what I measure the rise out, but I do measure an out seam too, as well as an inseam.
Yeah, I think I
That's
have
what I don't do.
I do like 5 measurements on jeans. I do the out seam, the rise, and then I also do a cuff measurement. That's when that way then they can tell whether it's a boot cut or it's a straight leg or what have you.
Right.
See, and I do 5 as well on women's jeans. I do waist, inseam, rise, cuff, and because the hip, that women worry about how it fits on their hips. So,
are you saying men don't worry about how it fit on their hips?
No, we don't.
Yes,
We don't.
I'm absolutely saying that. We don't give a crap, man. If that's what belts are made for, hello.
Benji,
So guys don't mind growing into things. Women will never want to grow into something.
you got that right.
For sure.
Okay, also we have a question in the chat. Benji is asking, what's better to put in the title, 3X or XXXL or 3XL? And for me, I guess it just depends if it's a man or a woman, right? I mean, like with women, I would probably say 3X. For men, maybe 3XL. What do you think, Andy?
It depends if I have spaces left in my keywords.
Right.
Usually, I'll always do just 3X. But if I have a spot for 3 more spaces, I'll put 3XL in there.
Yeah.
So it just depends what I have space for.
What about
But
you,
yeah,
Duane?
always at least 3X.
So for me, I always do the 3XL. I don't do the XXX because for me, it's kind of a pain. But so I do 3XL on men's, but 3X on women's. For some reason, that's when you look at a woman's clothes, that's what it says, 3X. It doesn't say 3XL.
Right.
Or X, or XL. I mean, X, when it's an extra large, it does say XL, but then it's 2X, 3X, 4X after that. So, but on men's, yeah, I do the 3XL, just on women's 3X.
I think the drop down on when you're doing your listings actually is 3X. That's what your option is, like 3X, 4X, 5X. I believe that's what the drop down actually states. So that's what I just put it as.
Yeah. But yeah, the men's clothing, some of them do say they'll say 5X, or they'll list out the X's like that. So I guess it just really depends on the brand.
Yeah. I'm going to say too, this came up on my channel a couple weeks ago in regards to selling like vintage t-shirts. You have got to be putting measurements for these things, because a large today is way bigger, like probably pit to pit, about at least 4 inches bigger than a large was, say, 25 years ago.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So if you're doing vintage stuff, you can pretty much throw that tag size out the window. You need measurements big time.
Yep.
Sure.
Right. Well, you got to look at it.
A lot of your vintage stuff, the length will be a little longer or shorter, give or take.
yeah.
We got to look at it like this too. Is that shirt's a vintage shirt's 20 years old? How many times has that thing been run through the dryer?
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a large on that tag is probably a medium now. I mean, it's shrunk so much.
It depends on material too. Like I've seen large wool sweaters not
Exactly.
even fit a tiny little person.
And another thing I want to
Yeah,
mention,
really, especially wool.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go.
No, go ahead, Lonnie.
No, the only other thought I had was when you mentioned, Tonya, how you put your clothing in envelopes and seal it up to bring over to your storage. I do the same thing, and I seal those things. So once I seal it, I'm not going to open that thing again. You know why? Because I'm making $10 on it. If you want more information, tough. You're not getting it. I mean, I'm making.
No, I understand what you're saying.
I'm making $10 on it. Go.
Yeah.
If it's not good enough, I'm sorry. It's not like $100 profit item. So that's where I'm at. But I do the measurements, and that's all I do.
Yes.
On the same thing, Lonnie, I was going to say, and unfortunately, I've found this to be true. If somebody's asking for extra measurements, they're going to be a problem buyer. Even if you give them those measurements, once they get it, they're going to be like, "Oh, you're a half inch off." Well, So I do the same thing. Once I seal it, I do not. I've done my measurements. Those are the 3 you get. If you don't know your clothing, by size and then I'm sorry. I'm not going to go to my area and unwrap it and redo it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So that kind of leads into our next point, and that is, how do you store your clothing that you're selling? I know a lot of people, once again, it's probably split down the middle. A lot of people keep the clothing hanging, and a lot of people will fold it up and go ahead and put it in a poly bag ready for shipping. So for me, I definitely fold my stuff up and it's in a poly bag. At least, like the clear bread bags, like these, right? So I can see whenever I go to the unit what I need to pull. Like I can see what color it is or the fabric. You know what I mean? Shane, what about you? How do you do your stuff?
So for me, I my inventory system's kind of like by the storage tote way with some numbers on it. But I also on my all my clothing on the stuff I know that's gonna wrinkle, I will leave it hanging for until
that's good. Yeah.
But if it's t-shirts, I buy these poly bags on eBay. Mm-hmm. It's like $6 for like 100 or 200. And I just fold them up. I put them in a poly bag and seal them just with a piece of Scotch tape, because I will actually, if someone has a question on it, I'll go back and answer it. A lot of people do have questions on the vintage clothing because there's a lot of knockoffs out there. Right. And so occasionally I will answer the questions. I usually don't have too many because I pretty much kind of discuss that in my listing, pretty much all of it. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah. What about you, Jory?
I'm OCD with my storage. So I have, those plastic bins you can open and close, you can stack them. I'll use those for my clothing, and I'll keep light colored shirts in each bin, and then the next one's for button downs, jeans.
Oh, so organized.
I put them in clear poly bags, and when I do my inventory before I put anything in the storage, I put it all in Google Sheets. So I'll print out the titles of everything I've listed, and then I stick those on the poly bags facing out in the bins so I know where they are to grab them.
Wow, very organized. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I use I'm pretty much using the tote system now as well. I'm kind of like Jory, where I have all like items. Actually, my number system is actually that way. So like all my polo shirts are in totes, and they're labeled PS1 for polo shirt 1, polo shirt 2, and those totes are all polo shirts. So I can just look at it, and I know that these sets of tubs all have only polo shirts in it. Like my Harley stuff is all HD1. My button front long sleeve shirts are BFL1, and then my button front short sleeves are BFS1. I know them are all short sleeve shirts. I know them are long sleeve. It's just kind of how I did it. My jeans are all JN1, JN2. I know them totes are all jeans. It's a little different number system, but I mean, I don't have 10,000 items either. Right. So I mean, it's easy, for me to keep track of that stuff. So. Like hats or HT1, I know that tote's all hats, right. But most of all my totes are all clear anyway, so I can see pretty much what's in there. And then all my big, heavy, bulky stuff like jackets and sport coats and that sort of stuff, they're all on racks. But I'm trying to get my racks down to maybe 1 or 2 instead of about 8 or 9.
Right. What about you, John?
Oh gosh. We're talking about inventory, right? Like how we've organized it all.
Like, do you, if you have any clothing, is it hanging up, or do you fold it whenever you're storing it before it sells?
I just fold it. I apologize. I missed the beginning of that because I had to run to the bathroom. But I have totes, and I've got them all like labeled and everything, and I just fold the clothes and put them in there.
Okay, Lonnie, I know you're folding stuff, right?
For the most part, yeah. I use. Most of the jeans are going padded flat rate, of course. So I just put them in, and then, I write the label on the outside and tote them up. And I have climate controlled storage that I put them in. I have a 10 by 20 unit. If I'm selling on the off occasion that I sell jackets, I will just hang those in a closet.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea for jackets, definitely. Duane, what about you? Did we talk about this? I don't think we did. Did we?
Nope. I have this great person that lives with me that likes to fold.
Yes, you do.
So she folds all my clothes for me. It's wonderful. So this is what I do. I fold them up, put them in a little poly mailer, put my little I love me tag here, and then I have just a little inventory tag here. It's just one of those little circles with a number on it, and then I have a spreadsheet that says 131 is in tote A1 or whatever. And then that's the way I do it. So, and then I'll be able to, I pull, okay, it sells, it's number 133. So I go to A2, pull 133, stuff it however I want to do it. If I'm going to put it in a poly mailer or depending on what it is. So
Man, you guys
I used to do it like Andy, but I came across the problem that inventory system got too crazy for me. It was like SH1 and ST1, and I was like, you know what? Why am I doing all this? Why don't I just put freaking numbers? It made more sense to me. So that's what I ended up doing. I had it where I had it broken down in by whether it was a shirt or a shoe or a jean, but it just didn't make it work.
Yeah, I think that you guys all have an awesome system there that really works, and it just shocks me. You guys are so organized. Like, you're more organized than I am. That's awesome. So I got some great tips from y'all.
My folding is horrendous. It makes my wife cringe, and I don't care too much because
hey, Jory, this is like one of the best things I've ever gotten.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I got this thing. I used to think these were so silly, and I found one at a garage sale. It was new in box. It was just a flipboard. I think you could buy them on eBay for around 10 or 12 bucks. These things make folding shirts perfect, and they fit great in like
Duane has one too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
They go so fast.
You nerds.
I just bought one. I just got it delivered to my house 2 days ago, and it's
Oh, dude, you're
What?
I honestly thought I would never use this thing. I thought I would never use this thing, and it's the greatest tool that is out there. I swear to God, I love the thing. Yeah, because it does. It makes folding your stuff so quick and easy, and then it slides right into. I use like 10 by 13 resealable clear cello bags. Yeah,
Yep.
and they're perfect. They just slide right in there, seal them up, toss them in my tote.
But I got to tell you, even still, Heather is way better at folding, even with that thing. I mean, I can fold it on that thing, and she can fold it on that thing, and hers looks way better than mine. So,
Yeah,
I've delegated her to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those, I guess.
Oh man, I think this is the second one, or actually the third one we've went through in the last 5 years.
Wow.
The first one broke. The second one wasn't good enough. Make sure you get well, if there's a couple of different kinds. What the hell are you laughing at, knucklehead?
No, I'm just reading. I'm reading Whitney's. I'm reading Whitney's comment here. Cincinnati Picker.
Oh,
Read it to us.
Go ahead and read it out. Yep.
Oh man,
Cincinnati Picker.
you
And
just
he
got
lost,
put on blast.
guys, he lost. Okay, it's on 24 hours of garage flips taking over
What?
Cincinnati Picker's
Oh my
channel. So Cincinnati Picker, he was so confident too and smug going into this game. He really was. Dude, you got to admit, you thought you had this game on lock. You did.
I did, man. I did. My team just totally crapped the bed.
So anyway, let me read this.
Oh, hey, John, thanks for that Jordy Nelson trade.
Yeah, you're welcome. Unbelievable.
Oh, CP. Anyway, let me read Whitney's comment. CP needs to learn how to fold his clothes. Maybe I'll show his dresser drawers in the losing fantasy football video.
Oh man. Oh, this is going to be a bad 24 hours. This is going to be hard to get through.
Hey, but just think of it. And you have a chance at getting back. So as bad as it is now, you could really double up if you win next time.
That's right.
Oh, you could make it from now. So anyway, back to what I was saying. There are a couple different kinds, but make sure when you do it, you get the full length ones.
Yeah.
Like this. And that sucks. They do not fold well. But if you get the full length ones, I think seriously, this was like $8. $12.
Hey, Duane, is that one adjustable?
No, I don't have the adjustable one.
See, I got the one that was adjustable.
Actually, it is adjustable. You can take these panels off and move it. That has a couple of different spots here, but I've seen some that slide adjust kind, but this one you can adjust. But again, like I said, I think I paid $12 for this, shipped from China, and it was seriously one of the best things I ever bought next to like my scale. I mean,
Yeah.
Scale. So.
Okay. Well, we are at about the 8:30 mark, guys. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think this was a really fun topic. I think we could probably do a whole nother show on it again.
Might have to do a part 2.
Oh yeah, we should do
I was
a
gonna
part
ask if
2.
people sold neckties. No one ever.
Yeah, and bring
I
some
do
more
that.
examples to show, right?
Yeah.
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 So
Whatever.
Oh, come on!
Damn it!
who is that?
I just got a sale too
What? Oh my goodness!
for $5.99.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
We're not drinking for
I don't
that.
even know that
I
might
gotta
only
get-
be like a half a shot.
I gotta get a brain freeze for that. Oh, great.
Dude, you haven't finished that daiquiri? Good God, man.
I just sold a set of Star Wars Monopoly replacement pieces for $16. So
Oh, nice.
Nice.
All right. Drink to that.
That's
Cheers.
pretty
Not too
damn
bad.
good, man. That's good for just pieces.
That's what I sell. Monopoly. I'm telling you guys, I sell the Monopoly pieces for minimum $15 to $20 all
yeah,
the
when
time.
they're
That's
uniques.
where I put them at.
I did it with a
Yeah,
Disney set
yeah,
too. Same.
Yeah. You just stay away from the regular mainstream set. But any of the oddball sets, it doesn't matter what it is, the tokens and all that stuff. Yeah, it's always $15 to $20.
Awesome.
So I mean, yeah, and you can always pick the board games up. That's first thing I'll check is make sure at least the tokens are in there. Yeah, they go for good. They go for decent money, and they're super lightweight. They only cost like $261 to ship. So yeah.
So I want everybody on the panel to say something in the chat. I'd like for everyone to go subscribe to their channels. Once the show is over, I'm definitely going to be linking everyone's channels so you can find everyone. And also, I want to remind you guys that the show will be on Shane's channel next week. He is Rise and Grind Picker there in the chat. So be sure you go over and subscribe to him so you'll get the notification of when we go live. So thanks so much to everybody who came and joined us in the chat this evening. We are so glad to see you all here. And
Good time to end it. I got a little
we will see you next Sunday. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, all.
Bye, everyone.